Hello there, and welcome to Deb TV. I am Deborah Deras, your host and author of the book, Confessions of an Adrenaline Addict, How to Achieve More with Less Effort. And Deb TV is dynamic, empowered, and bold. And every week, I bring you an expert that is going to help you transform your life. And today, we're going to talk about transforming our bodies from the inside out with the fantastic, amazing goddess, my girlfriend, and soon to be yours, Miss Angie Lee. Welcome to Deb TV.
Hello. I'm so excited to be here today. I love your energy, so I'm super, super excited about this.
No, I love your energy. I remember we first met on Instagram or Periscope or something, and one day I'm walking into a bar, literally in Santa Monica for like a meetup event. It wasn't just random. It was a Periscope meetup, health fitness meetup. I didn't know it was the health fitness. And I see this beautiful, gorgeous blonde girl, didn't know her, and she says, "You're Deborah Deras." And I'm like, I am.
I'm like, I totally have seen that girl on Periscope. So funny.
It was so nice to meet you. And now you all are going to have the honor of meeting Angie. And I'm going to tell you why you need to have this woman in your life. I'm going to read her bio formally. And then we are going to get started to help you today to be even more confident, to feel even more sexy, and to love your body and to be vital. So this is how you're going to do it with Miss Angie Lee. So Angie is a certified nutritionist, female health coach, and emotional eating breakthrough expert. She's born and raised in Chicago, 5-foot blonde bundle of energy. I'm 5'2", girl. No wonder we bond. A 5-foot bundle of energy, inspiring thousands of women, soon to be millions. I just want to let her know, to create the most confident body and life. She is the creator of the Diet Rebel Immersion e-course and brand owner of AngieLeeHealth.com. That's AngieLeeHealth.com. Angie's infectious energy and passion for this industry transcends to all. You can feel it through the screen right now, like, ooh. She is one of Chicago's highly sought after nutritionists and female fat loss coaches. Angie uses a unique holistic method that collaborates nutrition and, wait for it, psychology. She incorporates multiple facets of nutrition, including intuitive eating, breaking up with dieting, oh, I love that, and confidence coaching. That's what we're going to talk about today, confidence coaching. Bring in your sexy back, even though you really never lost it. Her mission is to teach, you like my anecdotes with your
I'm like, I want to watch this show. I love this.
Her mission is to teach women how to stop dieting, make moderation sexy, and live a life you love. And that's what you're tuned in for. That's the program you're on, Miss Angie Lee.
Woohoo! I love it. I'm like, wait, I want to watch this show.
Exactly. Come on. What the heck? I love it.
That intro.
Oh, yes, my love. And I am so excited to bring you to my community because there are so many people. I've been working and coaching adrenaline addicts, type A plus personalities for over a decade. And these are busy professional women that are going, and often are not happy with how they look.
Absolutely.
And with what they're eating and how it's showing up in their bodies.
Yeah, so absolutely.
I want to hear how you got started in this movement of healthy living coaching.
Yeah. So growing up, I was a gymnast for about 15 years. So I was always in athletics. I was a runner in college. So I was always very involved in being connected with my body, being an athlete. And starting probably in high school, a long time ago, I was fascinated with the human body and said to myself, I want to dive more into this. And I built so much confidence from athletics. You know, being a woman who was always athletic, I think, you know, okay, you're in great shape when you're an athlete in high school and college, but there was something better than that. And that was the discipline I learned and just knowing what it's like to be a confident woman when you work out and you take care of your body. So I said to myself, I'm going to, for the rest of my life, teach women how to feel this way. If I could have every woman feel this confident, then I'll be the happiest woman on earth. So I've really driven my business and dived into it because I wanted to bring women that confidence. So I got into it at a really young age, and that's kind of what sparked it. And I've been just super, super driven now and committed to making this my full-time job, making this my passion and my life. So that's where I am now.
I love it, Angie, because not only are you helping people be more confident and love your body, but you're such an example of female entrepreneurship and how you can make a living doing what you love, really turning your passion into profit. My first business was called Passionate Living Now. So I love it when I see a woman that's, you know, like for me, mine isn't a job, it's a joy. I have to set my alarm to stop working, not to start working.
I know. That's all that makes me so happy to hear. I love that. And it is true. Like before health and fitness, I'm an entrepreneur to the core. I started my first business, I think at 19. I've owned 3 different businesses, built them successfully now. By 26, I owned and built 3 businesses. So it's like, it's in my blood. Like there's nothing that brings me more certainty than entrepreneurship. And if you're one too, you know that feeling. It's kind of like nothing else makes sense. Like there is no plan B. Like I'm going to work for myself. I'm going to do what I love every day. There's no other option. So a lot of the women I work with now, it's kind of crossing over, but yeah, I love to help women build this confidence to start businesses too, if they want. I think that's powerful in itself.
And what I love about what you do is when you teach people to be more confident in their body, that confidence, of course, carries over everywhere.
Absolutely. And it sometimes starts with the other stuff too. So if a woman is unhappy about her finances or her job or her relationships, she doesn't want to take care of herself or eat well. So I have to tackle all of those aspects. And I know you talked to Danny J too, and her and I love talking about the correlation with like fat loss and finances, and how you eat is kind of how you manage your money. And it's all correlated. Like there is no one way. Like it's very rare for me to have a girl come to me and say, hey, I love my business. I love my boyfriend. I'm super happy. All my finances are in line, but I want to lose weight. Like that never happens.
Really?
It's usually like, hey, well, you know, I don't really have the guy I want, or I'm in a negative relationship, or I hate my job and I'm always in debt and I need to lose weight. Like they all kind of merge together, and it's like a domino effect. So I honestly think when you take control of your health, though, that's one of the fundamentals. You can build stronger in other areas of your life, have stronger finances, have better relationships because you are more confident, right? Like a girl is not going to go be in a negative or abusive relationship if she feels super confident. She'll be like, see ya.
Sorry.
Yeah, she'll be like, bye. So I love it too. I had a client last week who was like, you know, I just feel better now. I feel confident to go dating. I'm like, that's so cute to know that by her eating well and exercising, she now feels more connected to herself and more confident that she's able to now go approach men. And I'm like, hey, that's not really what I thought my job was, but all right. So it's interesting.
No, and that's so wonderful, because when working with you, then they're going to be able to be better in their relationships, be better in their career because of that core of confidence.
Yeah.
But what I'd love to hear from you is because you're a nutritionist, is the connection between nutrition and psychology and how you work with people in that way.
Yeah. So it's funny, when I started my career, I saw it very black and white. It was, you know, here's Susie Smith. She needs to lose 10 pounds. Here's what she needs to eat. Why isn't she doing it? And I thought it was, well, maybe she needs to tweak what she's eating. It was never how. And now it's all about the psychology game with me. I make sure that a woman is in a place in her life where she's ready to eat healthier, or she wants to be on a more strict plan. It's really about integrating them and knowing if her mindset is ready for it. You know, if a girl's getting ready for a bikini show, or if wants to do a pageant, I mean, that's a mindset game. She just wants it more, and it's a mindset game. So I really have to make sure that a woman is stable, and we really dive in. And a lot of my work now is assessing their relationship with food. A lot of women have a food story. So whether that was from being a little kid growing up, their mom was overweight, or mom always said, hey, finish your plate, or eat really fast, or, you know, maybe that deprivation mindset, not having enough food at the table when they were growing up. I really dive in now with them and figure out, why is your relationship with food like that? Why do you treat it like that? And how can we rebuild it to be abundant and positive so they're able to make good choices? So it's just the foundation again. If I don't build a positive mindset with that woman, I mean, I could tell her to eat, you know, kale and salmon all day, but it's not going to do anything. And just like the reverse, I think there's a lot of women out there who eating organic, or they're vegan, or they have some trendy, you know, diet that they're following, but they're still unhappy, or they're not really mentally, you know, connected to their body, or they're not meditating and managing their stress well. So I don't really think your body is absorbing that food. So it's really that whole picture. It's like you could be eating perfect, but if you're stressed out and hate your life, is eating really well actually helping at this moment? If that makes sense, it's really making sure everything's in line.
And that it's so funny. I'm learning that from you, and I interviewed Sheila. It's I never understood that your stress level could affect your absorption of food. I mean, I just never thought about it.
Well, it's funny. My mom called me a few weeks ago and said, hey, I'm so bloated. My digestion is messed up. What is going on? Do I need more probiotics? Should I eat more fermented foods? And I said, you're just really stressed out right now. And realizing that literally, physically, your body sometimes will show that stress. Some people or women are lucky and nothing happens. They don't see it externally. But for most women, they'll see that stress. Their body is like holding on to it. They just don't look happy and alive and vibrant. So your body will not assimilate the food the same way. So your body's either in the fight or flight state. It's either in a stress state or it's in the anxious anxiety state. So most women are living, like you said with your book, in the type A rush, gotta go state. So their body doesn't want to sit and rest and digest food. It's like, what do we do with all this food? So,
and then they store it?
Yeah, I'll store it. So the best time to actually eat meals if you do yoga, is that blissful, like zenned out yoga drunk state, the parasympathetic system. When you're in that after you leave yoga, it's like that super calm.
I love that. I'm like in a dream state.
Like, yeah, it's like, I can control anything that comes my way. Like that is that moment where I honestly think if you're in that state, you don't overeat and you don't make poor choices because you're just so connected. And emotional eating, binge eating, it's just a pure sign of disconnection from the body. And it's okay. I mean, no one's perfect, but when we see it constantly, that's when I know that a woman is having a severe disconnection with her body. So a lot of times I'll have her do like meditation or yoga just to feel connected. So yeah, there definitely is a correlation between stress though. Stress is the whole thing. It's number one killer. It's everything. Yeah, I really tackle that with a lot of women. They don't want to talk about it too. It's like, well, I'm eating perfect and I do an hour of cardio a day and I eat, all organic food and my green smoothies and what's going on. And then I say, well, how are you sleeping? Or what are the stressors are going on in your life? And they'll say, well, I don't know. I'm fine. That doesn't really matter. I just need to lose weight. I'm like, all right, well, you're not sleeping and you hate your job and your boyfriend. So maybe we should cover that first. So it's really funny how like my goal and my job is now transitioning to a life coach. And I love that. I love taking nutrition and fitness and making it something bigger than it is. And my goal in the next 5 years is not to phase out of the fitness industry. Obviously, this is my love, but to just be bigger than it too. And to know that when I'm working with a woman, it's not about food. It's about how she thinks about herself, how much she loves herself, and how she wants to show up in the world. So there's a lot more to it than just kale and broccoli. And
it's really the self-confidence is you're a self-love coach, It's
I guess
but also like when you say the beginning is identifying the stress so that you could rest and digest. That's a good mantra, you guys. Yeah. Reduce stress by rest and digest. And so the prerequisite, if you guys are taking notes, is to de-stress, whatever that is for you. Yoga, she mentioned, meditation, she mentioned. What other tools or strategies do you recommend for people to reduce stress so that they can release the weight instead of take it off? Just release it.
I love it. It's funny. Everyone has different things. So some people love reading and journaling, listening to music. I recently had to find my own outlet. We were discussing entrepreneurship. I was like, what is it for me? Is it just working all the time? I mean, I enjoy it, but where's my outlet? So I've had to find different things. Like I want to pick up painting. I want to get a little easel for my place and just start painting. I mean, that to me seems super relaxing. I love hot showers. Like that's when I get all my business ideas and my motivation. I'll like sit in the shower and just let the hot water run. And I'm like, oh, that's a great idea. I'll do that. It's like, there's no notes in front of me. There's no computer screen. It's just like me and the sound of water. It sounds weird. I love it. I'll go on long walks. I love long walks. I'll try to find a park where not a lot of people are and just get all my steps in, of course, but also that's my time to listen to my podcast and just like put my phone on airplane mode and get away from the world and really be with me, get connected. Because when I'm not connected, I'm not a good girlfriend. I'm not a good, business coach. I'm not a good leader. I'm not a good eater with my own nutrition. So for me, finding new things all the time is very important. And I think it changes. I don't know. I'm going to ask you too what you do, but I think as we get older, we evolve, we find different things. Like I wasn't a huge reader and now I am. And that's de-stressing when, when I was 19, I assume reading probably wasn't a de-stressor for me. So I think different things at different times in our life. What would you say are some of yours, actually? I want to know.
It's so true. And I would just want to mention that one of the things that I love to do with the hot water shower is I listen to chanting music. So I make my shower a meditation. So the entire time of the shower, I'm doing this chant. And by the time I'm out of the shower, I'm like, Nam Yoho Renge Kyo. I'm just like so ready for the world. Like, but when I don't do that, like you said, when I'm disconnected, it just seems like the same things that just flow, that they just stop me. Like I can't handle anything. There's traffic, there's delays. So what I do to de-stress, I love hot yoga. In fact, Sheila and I go to the same studio. And hot yoga. I used to do a lot of salsa dancing. Now I'm doing samba.
Ooh, I love that. You're like getting your feminine energy. Exactly. Dancing is very feminine.
I specifically did it to get more feminine energy, just because being an entrepreneur, I tend to be a lot in my masculine, and I found it to affect my relationships, interpersonal relationships. So I said, okay, to be more available and receptive, let me anchor into that chakra. So that's one of the things I do. And I absolutely, just like you, walks in nature, but I live really close to the ocean in Santa Monica and Playa del Rey. So I downloaded my entire book, Confessions of an Adrenaline Addict, walking on the beach. And, I used to do exercise for like, I got to burn this calorie. And now I do it to align with the divine, girlfriend. I just believe I believe not all the answers are in Google, and they're within us, and that we can download them, but we have to be open and available. So what I hear you saying for letting go of weight and being more sexy and confident is, number one, identifying what our stressors are and putting in things that boost our energy, that liven us up. I'm all about energy, obviously. And then number two is really identifying practices that we can do that can just that relax us, so that when we go to eat, it's not coming from a sense of addiction. It's coming from a place of nurturing. And then the other thing you said that I thought was so important that maybe people want to write down is about identifying that story. Because my grandmother came from Lithuania, and they were in the Great Depression, her parents. So she said, we're from the Clean Your Plate Club. And I remember as a kid, I would hide food in the napkin because I didn't want to eat anmuch. And I would have to like overeat just to please my grandmother. And then she'd be like, why are you gaining weight? I'm like, Grandma, you have me eat so much, And then same thing, my dad in the Colombian family, it was just like, people are starving, you have to eat this. So I grew up, eating more than I really needed to, just because of the guilt that I felt, from
you were living in that scarcity mindset almost.
Exactly.
And that's what I work a lot with now with women. It's coming from, I dieted my whole life. I consider dieting was my part-time job. I mean, that's all I did. Yeah, absolutely. So that's why obviously I'm more empathetic now being a coach. So it's interesting that I was in such that scarcity mindset, like there'll never be enough, or because I can't eat any carbs, I wanted to go binge on all of them, right? So I really try to get women to literally be like, get rid of all of the bullshit rules. Like right now, in the minute you throw them away, you'll find this sense of, oh, I can eat that if I want, but I'm okay. Or I can have a slice of cake and walk away. I don't need to eat the whole thing, because there's no sense of that deprivation. So you're really playing that reverse psychology of saying to yourself, any food's available at any time. It's 2015. If I want a pizza, I can call right now and a guy will come bring me pizza, right? So food is readily available. That's not the issue. So when I work with binge eating, it's really about, we take away rules. If I give her more rules, she starts to get anxious, she starts to get nervous, and then it just causes more anxiety. But I love what you said too. I want to mention about working in versus working out. I love how you said you're doing workouts now that are beyond just burning calories. I make sure I have a 2-to-1 ratio of working in to working out every week. So
tell us.
Really hard workouts. So if I do like 2 heavy lift days or really intense, if I'm doing sprints or something like a really hard class, I say to myself, okay, I probably should get in 2 to 3 yoga classes this week, because my body wants to always be in balance. For every hard workout, I think you need a walk or a yoga class. So what I used to do is only do hard classes and then be like, I'm too cool for yoga. I don't need to sleep on a mat. So I was like, what are those dorks doing? Are they chanting or what are they doing? Right. But I love that. So I'll tell my clients, like, how much are you working out versus working in? Buddha. Mine's lime green.
I was the same way. I was like, oh my God, this is so like lazy doing yoga. Now my yoga is like so hardcore.
I know. It can be very intense. So that's working in versus working out. There's things that take away our energy and exhaust us. And yoga for me, I never leave feeling, I'm sweaty. I feel like I worked hard, but I feel like I regained energy.
Yes.
And think of it, everything we're doing is exhausting energy. Working. I'm an extrovert, so I'm talking to people all day. I'm answering emails. I mean, everything I'm doing is like giving out. And as a woman who's like type A, entrepreneur, masculine energy, sometimes I get exhausted too. And I'm like, why? Oh, it's because I'm not bringing in enough energy. So again, that's why, I mean, we'll have to sometime talk about your book, because I would love to get that and see, because I think I used to go through that. I was addicted to that type A, like if I'm not constantly doing something, I'm behind, right? Yes. And never bringing energy in, which you'll find out you'll eventually hit rock bottom and be exhausted.
Thank you. I'll mail you a copy of my book, Beautiful One. Just email me your address. But I love the 2-to-1 ratio. Did you hear what she said? Were you taking notes? Okay, class. Now my Professor Deras is coming out. So she said 2-to-1. So for every 2 hard workouts, doing 1. And this is really difficult for recovering adrenaline addicts, because they're used to either all or nothing. And I know for me, I was either training for a marathon or doing only yoga. There never was that. What my yoga teacher told me was you need yin and yang. So when we were doing all the hardcore classes, she's like, you need to do the yin, which is like just stretching yoga instead of the hardcore weights, cardio bar yoga. She says, because it's your system and your adrenals go up when you're constant, and the cortisol, when you're constantly just going high, that you can actually, and you know better than me, hold on to weight. I know when I was training for marathons, I was gaining weight instead of losing weight.
Because you were literally just
saying, program.
Yeah, what is this program? Yeah, absolutely. Cortisol is the little evil creature who can be your best friend or your worst enemy. And honestly, my clients who do best are the ones who manage stress the best. They really are. Yeah.
So you think that is the more important piece than even the eating part?
I think they need to be together. It's the quote, if you're not what you eat, you are what you assimilate. So if a woman's gut is really, really bad, honestly, it's hard to say. Sometimes it's stress. But then, I have some friends or some clients I've worked with who in such a great state of mind, super happy, managing stress, awesome, who, eat fast food once in a while, or they're not perfect, but maintain their weight really well. So it's like their body is kind of working with them saying, hey, it's okay. I'll take that in. I'll use it. We'll be fine. So it's very interesting. I love studying that. So I love saying, okay, are the less stressed women doing better? Is it probably because that friend though, who's happy about life probably isn't overeating then? Probably that too. So it's all integrated.
So what do you mean when you talk about gut?
Oh, like gut repair. So with a lot of women, and I used to do more of this holistic work, but basically making sure their gut is healthy. So they have proper probiotics, they have their gut lining isn't basically irritated. So when you're eating lots of inflammatory foods, and that can be different for a lot of people, usually it's dairy, usually it's gluten, soy, sugar, all the good stuff. So if you're eating too much of it and your body's really sensitive to it, it's causing basically like a disruption into your gut lining of your gut. So with a lot of women, we have to take out some of those foods just for a little bit, just to repair. So it was interesting that when I was going through like a bad breakup and more stressful times in my life, I couldn't digest dairy as well. But now I'm like, I would say in a really good part of my life. So it's funny that like I can get away with eating foods that I wouldn't think I would be able to digest in the past. Yeah. So I've seen myself the proof of like when you are in a better state, I think your body is sturdier. So
that is fascinating, because there's been times in my life where I couldn't eat yogurt. It was like stabbing me in the stomach. And other times where I can eat yogurt and I'm fine. I'm fantastic. No problem.
Yeah. I'm like, wait, what's going on?
Oh, it's our system. Yeah. So tell me about your philosophy on eating.
Yeah.
What, because you talked, and then later I want to hear about what you were talking about with steps, because you talked about as long as I get my steps in, I want to hear that.
So my philosophy with eating has changed as my business has changed. My philosophy used to be that perfectionist mindset. Like if a woman's not eating perfect all the time, well, why isn't she, right? What's wrong? And my hashtag now, my business is moderation is sexy. And it's a movement I'm starting.
Write it down.
Moderation is sexy. So I came up with that because I was realizing all these diet plans, it's either the all or nothing mindset. So it's really sexy to like do a juice cleanse or like be a vegan for like 10 years or like do these crazy 21-day bikini shred plans, but you know, or you're totally off the wagon. But where's the middle ground? Whereas, hey, she can eat some chocolate here and there. I mean, I have a piece of chocolate every day throughout the week, but I don't binge on it in one sitting, right? So where's the middle ground? And can we make that attractive? Can we make that sexy to women so they're not buying these temporary plans? So all of my stuff now dives in, and I literally teach women how to go from that all or nothing spectrum and like meet them in the middle. And so if a woman's like obsessed with a food or has come from a really strict diet, I kind of bring her into a middle ground where I say, you know, we're going to eat a little bit of sugar and chocolate, but we're not going to eat a ton. And just like bringing her into that middle ground, which is really hard. Most women want like a very strict, like meal 1 through 5, and I'll do it. Okay. I'll do it 100%. They don't want to be told, hey, I want you to be intuitive today, and stop for a second and ask yourself, am I genuinely hungry, or am I just looking at my clock, which says I should be hungry? And they're like, oh, I can't do that. I don't want to do that. I'll just tell me the exact times to eat. And so I'm really trying to get women to just be intuitive and be thinking of food as abundant. There's always enough. And making choices that not only taste good, but are nourishing. So I always say to women, if you don't like kale, don't eat kale. I'm not saying like you have to eat kale all day. Find greens you do like, find proteins you like, find carbs you do like, that happen to also be nutrient dense, but you love them. Like I love peanut butter. I'll never give it up. I love spinach. I'll never give it up. I don't like, you know, anchovies, so I won't eat them. I mean, you got to have your list, and I think that's fine. I think too many nutritionists out there are like, well, if you don't eat kale, you won't be healthy, right? Or you're going to die. Like, I think there's so many foods out there. They really can find ones that they still like that are healthy. So that's my eating style now. It's definitely abundant and intuitive if I had to narrow it down.
And so when you say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, are you recommending that people eat 5 times a day?
I actually don't anymore either. So that's hard too, because a lot of women who are coming to me are from the 6 meals a day, every 2 hours, you know, counting calories so meticulously that, oh my God.
You know, as entrepreneurs, we hardly have time to eat at least once a day. So it's like,
I'm like, what are you doing? So it's interesting because I actually have them do a lot of like brief intermittent fasting. So nothing crazy where they're not like eating for days, but I allow them to give their digestive system a break, going back to that gut health. And I say, if you're not hungry at 7 a.m., don't eat till noon. Your metabolism isn't going to crash. Your body looks at caloric intake on the 24-hour spectrum. You'll be fine. I know women who eat 6 meals a day, you know, 100 at each. And then I know women who eat it all in one sitting, or you can technically do whatever you want. And I love that women feel this sense of freedom when they hear that. They're like, oh my God, I don't have to eat 6 meals a day to like rev my metabolism. So I let them choose their eating windows, choose the quality and quantity based on their hunger and everything like that. And we find the best plan for them. Some women love to graze. I don't like to graze and snack because then it's like a slippery slope. If I grab a little bit of almonds, it's not like, yay, there's 2 almonds. It's like, I'm going to eat the whole bag of almonds.
Girl, I have my almonds here. Look, I can only eat the almonds in the plastic from Trader Joe's. So they're pre-portioned. Otherwise, I would eat the whole bag if I get the whole almonds with the bag. So this is what works for me. And see, I didn't even eat it all. I've been trying to eat these almonds all day.
Oh my God, I love it. See, so you found your eating personality, and I want women to become detectives and find it. So it's like, I know me so well after testing so many things. I know I'm not a good snacker. I know if I eat lots of carbs at breakfast, I'm hungry the rest of the day. I know, I know so many little weird things about me and my eating style. And I want women to be able to make that statement and say, oh, I know that I do well on a higher carb or low protein, medium fat diet. Like that's what I help my clients do, is kind of figure out like what really works for you. Because what works for me might not work for my client or the next girl or the next girl. So it's really about taking them into account and saying what feels good for you. I mean, I work with nurses who work at 4 a.m. in the morning. I can't tell her she can't eat. I mean, she just worked. So she's got to eat at 4 a.m. So her breakfast or her lunch or whatever that is a little different than my other clients. So I really have to figure out, what is your life? What is your job? And what are you willing to do? I think, and I don't know if you dove into this with Sheila, but the quality of life thing still amazes me. Mm-hmm. I'll say to women, what are you willing to give up to lose the last 10 pounds, right? Oh, I'm willing to do anything. I'll be happy then. I'll be so happy. I'll get the guy, I'll get the job. But they're already so happy and they love their life. So it's like, is it worth it? Is it worth it? And I don't think enough women really say to themselves, is losing 3 pounds going to change my life and make me, you know, all of a sudden I'll be this beautiful, confident person who loves life. It's like, no, love life right now. And if your body wants to lose it, it will. But honestly, if you're having a good time, you like being social with friends on the weekend, you like having some pizza and some wine, do you really won't need to lose that 3 pounds? So it's like now my job almost is getting women to just calm down and figure out if it's really worth it.
And when they calm down, their stress goes lower, and they might be able to still have the cake and eat it too, baby. Have the wine and eat it too. Oh my God, you said something that was so like, it was, so what you said was you help people create a food program that works for them. It's very individualized. It's not the cookie cutter diet they read or what they saw somebody else do. What I hear you saying that I think is really unique is that it's being mindful so that you can listen to your body. You slow down long enough to hear, okay, I'm a protein person, or I'm a carb person, or this doesn't work for me. That does. I think 99% of people do not even know what works for them. I probably know one girl who's been very successful at keeping her weight steady her whole life. She's like in her mid-50s because she is mindful. She's like, I don't do good if I don't eat. So she's always has bars. You know, I don't do good if I don't have this. So she's got a system, but she's listened. But most people don't listen. They just try the diet of the week or the fad of the week, and they're wondering why it's not working because they're not practicing your moderation is sexy program. They're practicing the fad program.
Well, honestly, I love what you said too, because we're going back into psychology. In society, we're not meant to feel things. So it's like, if you're bored, go eat. If you're stressed, have a drink of alcohol. If you're, confused or bored or anxious after work, watch TV. I mean, we're taught to numb out all of our feelings. So when women come to me, it's interesting when I say, just sit with the feeling for a second before you go. And if you're going to binge or if you're about to eat emotionally in that moment, because I usually find it's after work. So we've made the correlation. They're just stressed. It's the end of the day. All of the worries and the stress of the day have built up. They come home, they open their fridge, and they go crazy. I say, can you just sit for a second and sit with that feeling? And I say, what would that feel like if you sat with that feeling? And they'll always say it would feel very awkward. I would get very anxious. I don't want to do that. They don't want to feel their feelings. And I've realized, like, that is incredible. We live in a society where we can't sit for 5 minutes and just feel what's going on. We have to use food, which is a drug, often to cope with it. So that's a lot of my coaching now is saying, can you just sit with it? I'm not asking you to like go call a friend or like some corny tip from Shape magazine that they'll tell you. Like, just sit with it. Give it 5 minutes. If you still feel genuinely hungry, have something to eat. Or if you do need fuel, eat something, of course. But yeah, we live in a society where, and I'm sure we all work on this, we are not supposed to feel our feelings, right? You're pissed, go do something. You're bored, go do something. And I think that's so interesting. Like, when did that happen? It's 2015. And if I'm bored, I'll pick up my phone. It's just a natural, like, I'm almost addicted. And that's crazy that I realize I have my own things that I need to work on too. Like, how do I cope or mask feelings as well? So I think that's probably, and I love what you said too about Google. You said all the answers aren't on Google. That's so true. Women are like, well, I just Googled this diet, or if I Google this new diet, everything will be okay. I'm like, why don't you just sit with yourself for a second and see what foods your body likes? It's talking to you. Just listen to it.
Wow. I'm actually writing a new book, and that's what it's all about.
Nice.
It's about tuning in.
Oh, wow.
Because the whole thing with adrenaline addiction and everything you and I have been talking about is we tune out and we go into addiction, whether it's adrenaline addiction, type A, doing too much, or food or TV or whatever. It's the act of not being mindful and not being present. And because we're so overwhelmed and inundated with social media and more information than ever before, faster than ever before, how can we be present enough to hear our little voice that says, I'm sad, not I'm hungry, or I'm lonely, not I need this food. So to really be present, to that. And I'd love for you to share like a success story that you've had with someone so that people can really get hope, because some people feel hopeless, to be honest with you. They've tried everything and they're like, is what she's saying going to work for me? So I want you to share a story of how it has worked.
Yeah, I'll share a little bit of my own and then one of my favorite client stories. So yeah, I was an athlete, and similar to a lot of girls in the fitness industry right now, I took it to the hardcore level. I competed in, I think, 8 bikini shows. So I got to the point where I was like 9% body fat, eating 1,100 calories a day, 2 hours of cardio. And I was binge eating. I was doing crazy stuff because I was in such a deprivation mindset. I worked with a coach at the time who told me, you can't eat peanut butter for 16 weeks on this prep for your bikini show. So I'm sorry, I really don't want to hear that you had any. I remember thinking, okay. Of course, what did I do 2 weeks later? I went and found a jar of peanut butter and binged on it, right? Because my body was so fat deprived. So honestly, I took all of those painful times that I went through with my own disordered eating. I made it into a business now. I'm super empathetic to my clients now, but I know what that feels like to be in that mindset. And I love knowing that you can get away from it. You can break through. So if anyone's listening who's going through that, it takes time. It takes patience. It takes self-love. But I had to come at things with an abundant mindset. I had to say to myself, Angie, it's not another diet that's going to fix you. It's not another program, or it's not, only protein, no carbs, or no carb diet. I mean, I've done that and I was miserable. So the moment that I made peace with food, it's like my world changed. I finally literally hit rock bottom. I cried on the floor, I think multiple times, and just said, I'm done. Like, I am done. Like, I'm sick of thinking about it all the time. I'm sick of obsessing about it all the time. There's more to life. And like we were saying about energy, I think if you're so obsessed with diet, you can't focus on other things in life. So a lot of my women want to start a business or want to be in a new relationship, but they're so obsessed with their body and food and dieting and counting calories all day. How are they supposed to go on a date if they're like busy doing math every night, right? Like you have to, your body, you need energy for other things. So I said to myself too, God or whoever, I said, listen, give me the energy to start a business, help other women, because I'm done obsessing about this. I'm done. Let me use this to help other women and bring me peace. And eventually over time, it was great. So I did have to kind of like ask for it and really try to just ask for that good energy to come in. But one of my favorite stories as well is a girl I was working with a few months ago. She was obsessed with Coke, like Diet Coke, I guess. So at her office, she would drink Cokes all day, 3 or 4 of them. And I was the only nutritionist who ever said to her, you actually can have one a day. Go for it. I want you to have one. I intentionally want you to have one. I'm not telling you to go cold turkey. So we instilled that she had one every day. She did that for about 2-3 weeks, and then slowly went down to 3/4 of a can every day, then went to half a day. Mm-hmm. So we streamlined her off. And I told her, come at it with the abundance mindset. What other mindsets have coaches given you? And it was, don't do this, just drink a Crystal Light, or don't do that because you're killing your insides. And it was this very like scary scarcity mindset that was given to her. So almost like a child, what did she do? She wanted to rebel. So she actually would be pissed at the coach and say, well, I'm going to drink those Coca-Colas. I was the first coach that said, honestly, just check in with yourself. Ask yourself why you're so addicted to them. And we had her time when she was eating them, and she found out they were right like after work meetings. Like, she was just really stressed, and that was her drug that she was using. So we said, how can we use other things? I never told her to give them up completely, and she on her own then wanted to. So again, like that childlike mindset, when I gave her abundance, when I told her, you're free, you can have them if you want. I'm not telling you never can again. She didn't feel the anxiety to drink them all at once. Unless you have a feeling that you're going to lose something, you don't want to consume 6 of it a day, right? I mean, you're like, I'll have some tomorrow. I'll have that next week. It's fine. So I totally had to rewire her mindset for almost probably a year to really give her that sense of, you can have those, but it's when you want and in moderation. And now I don't even think she drinks them anymore. It's been so long. So I loved hearing that, how so many nutritionists out there are thinking more rules. But sometimes more rules really just means more of a mess, especially in a woman's brain.
It's so true. Our inner brat will rebel against that.
Yeah, I'm a rebel dieter. That's why I called my program the Rebel Diet. So I'm very, very rebellious. I'm a rebel entrepreneur. I'm a rebel dieter. So the minute someone tells me, you can't eat carbs ever again. I mean, if I told you that right now, what would you go do? You'd probably go find the closest loaf of bread you could find, right? And like just shovel it in real quick, like the Last Supper. Mm-hmm. And so when I realized that about me, I was like, oh, Angie, rules are making it worse for you. Maybe you should try no rules. And when I said, you know what, listen to your body, you can have any food you want. It was like, I didn't really want to overeat or binge or eat shitty food. I was like, I kind of just want to eat good things because they make me feel good, or I can have that chocolate later. It's fine. I don't need it right now. There was no anxiety. So again, stress, anxiety, it's all up here.
So shifting from the scarcity mindset to the abundance mindset with the underlying principle of moderation is sexy. Moderation is key.
Yeah.
When you know that you could have it all, you make a choice not to. It's like, I don't want to make myself sick. Like I used to be like binge person when it came to cake and I could have none at all. Now I don't have it, not because I can't, because it literally will give me a headache if I have a piece of cake. Okay. Like instantly, if I have a piece of cake, I'll get a headache and I just don't feel like having a headache.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like it's a lot like dieting too. I always say to my girls, with an awesome guy now, but I've dated like the bad boys who weren't good for me. And why did I date them? Because I thought I couldn't have him, right? Like he was over there and I would just, call me or be with me, even though you're not deserving. And it was just that sense of, I thought I couldn't have him, that scarcity mindset. So I say it's like dating a jerk ball. You want it because you think it's really cool and it's like, ooh, I really want to date him. But then you like actually date him and you're like, oh, he's not that
Jerk
cool.
ball.
I'm like, guys, the same thing with chocolate and candy. Like it's great, but like, it's not like it's better than other pleasures in life. Like there's other fun things to do in life. So I almost have to teach them like, how else do you find fun outside of cake? Because cake's really cool, but once you take it off the pedestal, it's it's not everything. So
Tweetable, get off the jerk ball program, my friend.
Stop dating jerk balls. They're not worth it.
Stop eating jerk balls and stop dating jerk balls. That's the key to be sexy and confident with Angie Lee. So Angie, I have 5,000 more questions, so I'm going to have you back on the show. We didn't get to the steps. Can you just talk about the little steps?
Yeah, absolutely. So steps are just my walking steps. I try to get 10,000 steps in a day. And usually it happens indirectly, not even tracking because I live in a city and I got to walk everywhere. But I will make sure I try to get 10,000 steps in a day. I try to make sure if nothing else.
Cold Chicago?
Yeah, like today I did. It's actually it's 40 degrees today. That's warm.
You think that's warm? We are freaking out when it gets like 55 and
I know. You're such a Cali.
Oh my God.
So I'll still walk unless it's so cold that like I can't feel my face. I'm out there. I will like go pick up groceries. I'll do something just to like keep my body moving. I honestly think we're human creatures. We're creatures of movement. We have to keep moving. You don't have to like go to a CrossFit class every day to be fit. You just need to move.
So how do you track your steps? What do you do? A Fitbit or what?
Yeah, I usually have my Fitbit on and that's how I'll track it. Most days I'm pretty intuitive. I can kind of say, oh, I probably sat a lot at my computer today, or I moved a lot today, so that will make up for tomorrow because I know I'll be at my desk working all day. Or like today, I really didn't work a lot, so after this, I will go for a walk if it's not too cold. But I can intuitively tell that my body was too sedentary today. Like it's super obvious. I mean, I'm sure everybody watching and you know those days where you're like, I've been on my butt all day. So I just try to get very intuitive with it.
And hips don't lie, girl. So silly. Do you know I did the Chicago Marathon, girl?
When?
I don't remember. I think it was 2000. It was in October and it was a miraculously like Indian summer. So it was like 59, 62, perfect for running. It was just the best.
I love that. That's awesome.
I love Chicago. I speak there quite often. I'll have to come visit you.
Oh my God, yes, I would love that. It's a great city. I'm trying to get to the West Coast, but my heart will always be here. I love Midwest people.
Me too.
We're the best. We're great.
We're the best.
We are. We're nice. We're friendly. And when I go to Cali, I like the girls there, but sometimes I'm like, oh, should I go talk to her? I don't know if that's okay.
Girl, come with me. I'll introduce you to all the nice people.
Yay, the nice people in Cali.
Yeah. 2 5-foot-tall girls with bundles of energy. Pow, pow, right?
I know, right?
Energize everybody.
The midget life. It's
great. No. Somebody, I said when I was speaking at a conference, oh, I'm vertically challenged. And one of my audience members said, no, girl. You're highly concentrated. I'm like, ooh.
Oh my God, I love that.
That's you, girl. That's you. So how can people stay in touch with you if they want to get on your Rebel program, they want to get coaching with you? What do they do?
Absolutely. AngieLeeHealth.com. And Angie Lee Health is my Instagram, Twitter, everything, my YouTube channel. So Angie Lee Health, I kept it super simple. Come to me. I do coaching calls. I do breakthrough calls. And then of course my 6-week program. Yeah, I do lots of webinars now. And now I'm going to start doing Google Hangouts.
It's fun time. Hang out with Google, right?
I know. I'm excited. I love this. This is great.
It's easy. It's easy. Okay. This is her first time. By the way, AngieLeeHealth.com. And I am going to put it in the description. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel so you don't miss an amazing episode of Deb TV. We're here every week with amazing experts such as Angie Lee. And if you have any questions for Angie Lee, please write them in the comments and I'll be sure to tag her so that she can answer your questions because she has so much knowledge, not only a nutritionist, but a life coach and just an overall positive, inspirational person that you want on your team, cheering you on. I love the idea of moderation. I love the idea of being able to create your own plan intuitively. I love the idea about reducing stress as the prerequisite of being mindful and really just having fun along the way. It doesn't have to be torturous.
I know. Honestly, I think we just need more fun in this world.
It's true. And the 2-to-1 thing, I love that. So if you're going to do 2 hard workouts, then do 1 easier one. And she suggests 10,000 steps every day, my friends. That's easy.
Yay.
Especially all of us here on the West Coast. Come on.
I know. Like when I hear the California girls aren't moving, I'm like, hey, I wish I was next to that beach. I would totally take advantage of it. I would love to move to Santa Monica. That's like my 3-year goal. I mean,
Girl, come on over.
I know. How far are you from Santa Monica?
2.1 miles.
Oh, all right.
Come in. I'll help you. You'll manifest it. It'll be fantastic.
You'll be my life coach. I love it.
Yes.
Thank you so much for having me on. This was so much fun. I love your energy. I love what you're doing for the world. So I'm super grateful that we got to do this. I would love to do this again.
Thank
and I'll have to bring you on my show.
Oh, good. Yes, we're definitely going to have Angie Lee back again. I'm going to go even deeper into everything that we talked about. Now that we understand the philosophy, really go deeper into psychology. I think the psychology part is so fascinating. So make sure that you go to her website, angieleehealth.com, so you can get her information. And if you're interested as well, my book, Confessions of an Adrenaline Addict, that I have for Angie going in the mail. You all can have that as well. You could grab that at I was going to say Angie Lee. One track mind at adrenalineaddictbook.com, and you could give it to yourself or give it as a gift. But definitely, it's going to give you the strategies to reduce stress so that when you work with Angie, you're going to be set up for success. You're going to be able to digest, absorb your food so that you're going to be able to let go and release this weight once and for all. I want to thank Angie for being on the show. I want to thank you all for tuning in. And remember, we are on the Sharing is Caring program. So you want to share the show everywhere. Facebook, Google+, tell Oprah, tell Deepak, tell whoever needs to know.
Tell Oprah.
Tell Oprah. Just connect with Own at Own TV at Oprah. Let her know the fantasticness that is, I just made up a new word, fabulousness, that is Angie Lee. And share this with your friends, share this on Twitter, because I truly believe, my friends, that with the power of synergy, anything is possible. And your possibilities for 2016 and beyond are amazing. If you need any support from me, I have speaking engagements and vision board play shops and all of these workshops. You can go to my website at deborahderas.com. I was looking for if I had a thing with my website. It's DeborahDeras.com. I'll put a little link in the bottom of the description. And I want to thank you so much for tuning into Deb TV, where we are dynamic, empowered, and what else, Angie Lee?
Bold.
And we believe that moderation is sexy, and that all of you will have the confidence in tuning in to Angie Lee's webinars. Angie Lee on Periscope, social media. You can find her there. Okay, you guys. Ciao for now. Deborah Deras.
Bye.
Signing off. Bye.